Welcome and thank you for standing by. At this time, all participants are in a listen-only mode. After the presentation, we will conduct a question-and-answer session. At that time, you may press star 1 to ask a question. Today's conference is being recorded. If you have any objections, you may disconnect at this time. I would now turn the call over to Janice Wingo with the International Trade Administration. You may begin.
Thank you. Good evening. Welcome to this evening's webinar. For a change, we're doing an evening webinar so people on the West Coast can listen in live and ask questions. This evening, we're going to be talking to 2 attorneys from the Alibaba Group in Hong Kong and in China. First, we will talk with Ms. Elsa Wang, Senior Legal Director at Alibaba.com. She will be talking about IPR protection, policy and enforcement with Alibaba.com. Thereafter, we will go to her colleague at the sister company, Ricky Shen, who will talk about similar issues at Taobao. Then the operator will open up the lines, and both attorneys have said that they were very happy to answer questions that you may have. So Elsa, take it away.
Okay. Good evening, good afternoon, everyone. Alibaba.com is pleased to be invited today and have the opportunity to share with you the mechanism we have in place in supporting the cause of intellectual property protection. Specifically, we will focus on the takedown and enforcement system and procedures that Alibaba.com has implemented in respect of complaints received from rights owners against our members. As an opening remark, I do want to convey this clear message from Alibaba.com. We respect the intellectual property rights of legitimate owners, and we expect users of our platform to do the same. We also see the benefits in working with rights owners in a cooperative rather than confrontational manner to address and resolve problems of IPR infringements on our platforms. We believe this works both ways. It is important that rights owners understand our system and procedures, and of course the limitations that we also face as a platform operator in handling infringements. Equally, it is important that rights owners send us their feedback and suggestions to help us continuously improve and enhance our system towards that goal. So in the next 20 minutes or so, I will try to give an overview of Alibaba.com's current takedown and enforcement policy and procedures, and some of the challenges that we face. By way of background, let me explain what Alibaba.com is about. It was founded in 1999 in Hangzhou, China, and it connects millions of buyers and suppliers around the world to do business online through 2 marketplaces: a global trade platform, www.alibaba.com, for importers and exporters, which is in the English language, and then a Chinese domestic platform, www.1688.com, for domestic trade in China, which is in the Chinese language. In addition, Alibaba.com offers a transaction-based wholesale platform on the global site www.aliexpress.com, which is geared for smaller buyers seeking fast shipment of small quantities of goods. This platform is also in the English language. Together, these 3 marketplaces form a community of more than 72 million registered users in more than 240 countries and regions around the world. Alibaba.com's mission is to make it easy to do business anywhere, especially through the power, speed, and convenience now afforded by the Internet. Basically, through our platforms, buyers and sellers globally can reach each other through an online community and market or source their products 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. We believe our business model embeds a very important element of social responsibility. By utilizing the efficiencies of e-commerce, we empower small and medium enterprises like you guys to thrive and survive and foster them to become the engine for economic growth. So now let me give you a snapshot of the development of Alibaba.com's IPR protection system. We started to accept complaints since as early as 2002. All the complaints at that time were received offline through either facsimiles or emails. Then we adopted an online system in 2008, which opened a channel for rights owners to file their complaints online. A year later, in 2009, we formally implemented an enforcement mechanism against repeat infringers. Another year later, in 2010, our online system was substantially upgraded and renamed as AliProtect. The enforcement continued, and AliProtect was further upgraded in 2011 to allow the bulk submission of infringing listings by IPR protection agencies acting on behalf of rights owners. Now, to give you another snapshot about the volume of complaints we handled in the past year, here are some statistics. In respect all the Alibaba.com marketplaces, for the 9 months from January to September 2011, we handled more than 32,000 qualified complaints. We removed more than 687,000 product listings, and we enforced against more than 19,500 members. As to the distribution of IPR complaints by type, design patterns or industrial design accounts for major part, 41.7%. Trademark accounted for about 38.8%, followed by utility patents, which accounted for 11.7%, copyright 5.9%, and invention patent, which is a minority and accounted for 1.9%. Now, going through the takedown measures that we have adopted, let me explain what AliProtect is about. So, AliProtect was launched in March 2010. It is applicable to 3 of our marketplaces: Alibaba.com, AliExpress.com, and 1688.com. It is a takedown system which allows product listings under complaint to be removed. We allow a maximum of 200 listings per submission, and we provide a search tool to allow complainants to use that tool to identify infringing listings on our platforms by inputting like keywords of the product or a certain company name. Our system has already been upgraded to also support direct communications with third-party systems. Those are systems mainly from the brand protection agencies, and this allows bulk submission of listings over a maximum of 200. And we are currently undergoing ongoing enhancements to make the system and procedures more user-friendly to all the users. So if you click to our main website, www.alibaba.com, there will be on the right-hand corner an icon, the help icon, and then if you try to click the help icon, there will be a pull-down menu, and if you see the item report IPR infringement and click into it, then you will go into the first page, the start page of our AliProtect, the system. So we need users to register an account. So if you already registered an account, you can just input your email address and the designated password. If you have not done so, then you have to click the join free icon, and then it will lead you to a page allowing you to do the registration. So by registration, we require basic information like the company name, email address, contact phone number, fax number, and your designated password, etc. After providing the basic user information, you will have to undergo a verification process in respect of your identity. For identity, we need to verify the company identity or identification documents, such as certificate of incorporation, business registration, and we also need the complainants to identify and supply proof of their intellectual property rights if they are filing a complaint. So the intellectual property rights that we require will be like trademark registration certificates, patent registration certificates, etc. As far as copyrights are concerned, we are ready to accept other types of less official proof, such as evidence to show the publication of the copyrighted work, like product catalogs and media reports, etc. So once you have registered an account, you can use the system to submit complaints. The next page will show how you submit a complaint. First of all, you can use our search tool by entering keywords of a certain product or company name to search the infringing listings in question. But after doing that, the submission process is not yet complete. You have to match the infringing listings with the IPR in question by clicking the checkbox on the left-hand side and the icon match respective IPR. After that, you will go to a page to show the IPR in question, and you can check the boxes on the right-hand side. Once that has been done, you can click the match button and complete the formal submission. Now, let's take a look at the overall process flow after a valid complaint is submitted. Alibaba.com will immediately notify the member being complained of. So if the member being complained of is a paid member, basically it will have a 3-day period to file a response, or what we call counter notification, to the claim. However, if the complaint in question is in relation to an infringing listing filed by free member or those members on AliExpress.com, we will remove the listings immediately and close the case. Obviously, the member in question can still file a request or counter notification to request us to withhold the listing. But basically, the complaint and removal process is completed. As far as paid members are concerned, as we allow a 3-day period for them to file a response, they can either respond. Well, if they don't respond, then the listings will be removed and the case will be closed. If they respond, then the complainant will have to review the response and either indicate a rejection or an acceptance. If the response is accepted, obviously the case will be closed with no further action. But if the response is rejected, then Alibaba.com has to step in this case. By stepping in, we will examine and look at the evidence on the face submitted by both parties and decide whether the listing should be removed or not. Of course, this decision does not involve any detailed judgment on the substantive merits of the parties. It is only a reasonable decision on the part of Alibaba.com as a platform operator. So, apart from the AliProtect online system, we actually still accept offline claims by way of faxes and emails. Obviously, this is acceptable if a complaining party encounters technical difficulties in submitting claims through our online system, AliProtect. So, as far as takedown measures are concerned, I also want to emphasize that apart from administering the online system for efficient takedown, we also believe it is important that we maintain communications with rights owners and address their concerns as and when necessary. So we will review profiles of suspicious suppliers identified by any complaining party and take appropriate actions if necessary. We will also try to address specific concerns from complainants as much as possible, subject, of course, to our boundaries and obligations as a platform operator. Now, I want to highlight what improvements we have achieved in the past 2 years with the launch of AliProtect. First of all, we moved a substantial number of claims from offline to online, which now accounts for 2/3, actually over 2/3 of our complaints received. AliProtect also increases significantly the transparency and efficiency of the entire takedown process. AliProtect also makes it easy for all parties, including the complaining parties, members being complained of, and Alibaba.com as the administrator to handle a claim and keep each other posted at all stages. However, apart from the takedown measures, we also believe and recognize that takedowns alone may not be effective enough, especially against a small number of members on our platform who are repeat infringers. For this minority group who repeatedly violate our rules and fail the expectations of our community, we impose progressive discipline apart from removal of listings, including the issue of a serious warning letter, the placing of restrictions on the number of product listings or offers that a member can post each day, the delisting of all items of a member's storefront on our platform, and the termination of a member's account with us, which means we will ban that member from our platform indefinitely. We consider that those members who repeatedly or frequently abuse their access to our platform through disrespect for the IP rights of others should know that there is a realistic threat of losing their assets and benefits. And based on this principle, we close the account of a repeat infringer in appropriate circumstances. Our current termination policy does not, however, provide a definition of repeat infringer, which is based on just one single factor. For instance, the number of complaints that we have received. We believe there are different degrees of infringement, from the inadvertent to the willful, and there are different circumstances that we should take into account when determining the appropriateness of a termination. To us, these circumstances should not be exhaustive, and to name a few, they include whether the infringements are obvious or blatant, whether infringing goods appear to be the mainstay of the member's business, how many times the member has offered the infringing listings, and over what period of time. How many valid notices of infringement Alibaba.com has received, any counter notification filed, the member's response, etc. On the whole, I can assure you that we do have a sophisticated scoring system internally to determine the level of discipline that we should impose on a particular member being complained of. For our enforcement system, currently, we will take action on a weekly basis. We also take special treatments for conspicuous malicious cases. In those cases, we can take immediate discipline action rather than wait for the weekly execution. We may also terminate suppliers directly without having to go through the escalating system of our enforcement actions. Finally, I would like to share with you what challenges we have experienced so far in handling the infringements. Although we believe that AliProtect is a useful tool and channel for submitting complaints, currently we still find quite a small number of rights owners who are reluctant to use this online tool and channel and they prefer to send us pages and pages of faxes through their lawyers or themselves. Actually, this will increase not only our workload, but also the processing time that will take to effect a takedown. More importantly, this kind of offline complaints also make it more difficult for us to collate complaint records for the purpose of taking the weekly enforcement measures against repeat infringers. So we do encourage complainants to utilize our AliProtect system. Secondly, we encountered quite some cases where a complainant merely stated that there were infringing listings found on our site, but no further details, including the specific URL in question, were provided. There are also cases whereby photos or images of the infringing listings were provided, but again, without any reference to the specific URL in question. In all these cases, we had to go back to the complainant, which means we have to explain and request more information, and thus increasing our workload and the overall time consumed in the process of taking down the listings. Another challenge that we have faced, and I want to share with you, is that some rights owners simply request us to screen and filter all product listings of our members to help them identify and remove infringements on the brand before these listings are posted on our platform. While I can see the logic and apparently ideal outcome of such requests, I believe this is something going way beyond our responsibility as a platform operator under the current safe harbor guidelines prescribed by the DMCA. Alibaba.com's position as a neutral platform is any such policing is best done by the rights owners themselves, who are most familiar with their own intellectual property rights and the effective measures that can be taken to prevent infringements. We obviously have the responsibility to stop an infringement once it is identified and known to us. But it is quite another thing, even assuming that we have the ability and technology to screen and filter all our members' listings with a view to discovering and preventing a potential infringement from appearing on our website. So, finally, I would like to give you some useful links and contact information so that as an ongoing process of communications, you can find the relevant information and our contact in case you have any concern or questions. So that is the end of my presentation, and I will hand over the time to my colleague Vicky Chen of Taobao.
Thank you, Elsa. I will post a copy of this of Elsa's contacts on the StopFakes.gov website, or you also can contact me, Janice Wingo at trade.gov, and I will forward those to you. And next, let's speak with Ricky Shen, who is an attorney with Taobao in China.
Okay, thank you, Janice. Thank you, Elsa. I'm Ricky Shen from Taobao.com. Hi. Good evening, and it's my pleasure to show you some information on the Taobao IPR protection policy and enforcement. Firstly, I'd like to show you some data of our IPR claims and takedowns. We can see from this picture, we have a number of suspicious or infringing product listings taken down. The amount is up to 62 million from 2011 January to November. The number of the 11 months is almost 4 times increased from last year. And also, we have the number of infringing product listing taken down as a result of qualified IPR complaint to reach to 8.2 million. And the number of suspicious or infringing product listings taken down by Taobao proactively reached to 53.8 million. And we have a Taobao rule to punish the members who inviolate the intellectual property rights. We penalized our members for 573,000 times last year. From this slide, we can find the distribution of IPR complaints by type. We can find the trademark right infringement occupies more than 0.5% of all the infringement type, and copyright. As for the copyright, we have piracy, such as piracy DVDs, publications, and softwares. They occupy more than 10%. And also we have other types of copyright infringement, such as someone will use a picture or some article without authorization of the writer of the company. They will post it on the list of their product, and this type of infringement occupies more than 21%. And we don't have much patent complaints. It only occupies less than 10%. In the bottom, we have some figures of the infringement of the reporting system. We have members. We have number of registered members using the online reporting system. Till now, it has 4,160. And the number of complaints submitted through the online reporting system each day is about 335 per day. And the number of infringing products listing taken down as a result of qualified complaints is 16,000 per day. Now I will show you some instruction of how to use our online reporting system. We can find this system from the URL http Qingquan, that's the Chinese pinyin for the meaning of infringement, qingquan.taobao.com. This is a front page of our online reporting system. One point I need to explain is that Taobao is incorporated under China law, and we operate within the China territory. So our platform, our website is all in Chinese language, and our reporting system is only in Chinese language too. So we now have only the Chinese version of our reporting system, and if in the next year we are trying to develop some English version. And from this slide we can find that this is a registration page. You can sign in. First you have to register, and then you can sign in, will be a member of the reporting system. Next page is the personal or company information page. You have to fill in your email address, your contact person, your correspondence address, and your country, and also your phone number and your identity your identity proof, such as your business license, your incorporation certificate, or your identity card. You can upload, and then you will register as a member. It usually takes about 2 working days for Taobao to review your proof of identity, and we will report the process to your email in 2 working days. Finished that, you can submit your IP right proof. You can submit from the left button. Here is a page you can choose your type of intellectual property rights. In China law, we have trademark, we have patent, and copyright. We accept only Chinese trademark registered in the Trademark Bureau of China, and also we accept China patent, which is registered in the Patent Bureau of China. And we accept international copyright according to the Berne Convention. You have to upload your certificate of your copyright or the trademark and your patent as an attachment to this page. And you also have to fill in the number of your trademark or your patent. Put a blank, and then you can submit for Taobao to verification. It takes about 2 or 3 working days for Taobao to process the IPR verification, and you can check this. You can check your status of the case through your account in Taobao reporting system. Here is the result page of your of the verification successful, and you can check to see whether it is passed or not. And if your intellectual property right is verified successfully, you can click this button. This one. You can click this button to submit a complaint. Here is a page to complain the listing, and you can choose the approved intellectual property right from this menu. If you would like to add your new intellectual property right, please press this button to add your rights. And also, you can choose the types of complaint links, such as if you complain product listing, you can choose the product. And if you are complaining some signboard of the shop, or you complain the subdomain name of a shop, you can choose the shop. Also, you have to fill in the complaint reason. We advise you to provide us as much information as you can to help us to judge whether this link is an infringing link or not. And also, here you can paste your complaint links. The maximum number of listing is 300 once. And also, in the bottom, you can upload your certificate or your evidence of judging how this link is infringed, is an infringed linking. Such as you can upload a comparison chart or some purchasing identified report and so on. Then if your complaint is approved, Taobao will take down the listing within 5 to 7 working days. And then the vendor will receive notice that his or her listing violates some intellectual property rights, and then the vendor can give some counter notice. And the writer have to need to answer the pending counter notice within 2 days. If the IPR owners do not respond, Taobao will forfeit the counter notice to be a successful appeal. Or the IP owners can refuse to accept the counter notice and let Taobao to interfere. Here is the page that the intellectual property owner can see some information of the counter notice. And the owner can choose to withdraw the complaints or let Taobao to interfere. Here I'd like to share some very important information with you that Taobao invent a unique mechanism to enforcement. I will not go into a lot of detail with you that how Taobao work with the policemen, will work with the government to report some intellectual property infringement. Here I'd like to show you our Taobao rule, how it works. We have an escalating scale of penalties imposed, and a point system is used. We just take the driving license system for reference. For serious infringements, we designate the serious infringement as such as counterfeit and piracy. And we regard the other infringement types as the general infringement. Here we only talk about the serious infringement, counterfeit and piracy. We will take the following actions. If the points of the vendor counted to 12, we will removing the shop from searching results for 7 days. If the points counted to 24 points, we will removing the shop from searching results for 14 days. And if the points counted to 36, we will closing the shop for 21 days. And if we have 48 points in all, if the vendor his or her points counted to 48, we will closing the storefront down permanently. He can never register as a Taobao member forever. So let's take a look at how the deduct of the points. From the left side, we divided this slide into 2 parts. The left side is the suspicion of sales, and the right part is some actual sales. If we can judge from the information of the listing that we have some suspicion of the vendor selling some infringement goods or product, we will deduct 2 points for each product. And here we have some special circumstances. That means if the IP owner does not choose the reporting system to complain, we will give no deduction to the vendor. We just take down the listing. And for the serious circumstances, we will deduct 24 points for each occurrence. That means if the short front mostly sells infringement product, we will deduct 24 points. And from the right part, we can see if the IP owner they actually pursues the product and give some verification report that saying that the product is counterfeit, we will give 24 points deduction for each occurrence. And also the IP owner can submit some court judgment or the administrative penalty decision to us to help us to judge whether it is an actual sale of infringement product. And also we have some serious circumstances. We have recidivism for the repeat infringement. If a vendor repeat to sell a violation product for 2 times or more, we will deduct 24 points for each occurrence. And also we have some particularly serious circumstances. That means if the circumstance is very serious, or the result is the damage is very huge, or it can be some criminal case, we will deduct 48 points for each occurrence. In that case, the storefront will be shut down permanently. We can find more information of the Taobao rule related to IPR infringement from the button URL link. Okay, that's all. If you inquire more information, please contact me at wentown.sk@taobao.com. That's all. Thank you.
Steve? Just wanted to let the listeners know before we open the lines for questions that both presentations and audio recording with the slides will be posted to the stopfakes.gov website so that you can check these email addresses and get this additional information. Operator, can you inform the listeners how they can ask a question?
If you would like to ask a question, please press *1. To withdraw your question, press *2. Again, if you would like to ask a question, please press *1.
While we're waiting for some questions, I have a hypothetical for both of you. This happens to do with a U.S. company that would have a patent, the invention patent here in the United States, so they have a patent registration. And they notice that another company is selling a good which infringes on their patent. Could you tell me, both Elsa and then Ricky, could you tell me how that would be handled in China? And what if the Chinese company that was selling the patent had, for example, a utility module or a designed patent that was registered in China? Could you tell me how that would be handled under your system?
Right. Yes, that is actually a situation we encountered before. Like what you said, a complainant may file a complaint based on a valid registered U.S. patent against listings posted by a China supplier. And then that China supplier will come up with a utility patent as a basis of their content notification. And in those circumstances, we usually review the U.S. patent having a superior right. Because in China, utility patents, basically, they don't undergo a rigorous examination or substantive examination process. So in light of that, we generally regard U.S. patents having a superior right. Yes, that is the situation that I encountered. I believe, Ricky, you may take different considerations because Taobao is a domestic site in China, and basically you look at the PRC laws.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Elsa. So this is because the utility model is not examined in China, so you judge the U.S. patent to be a superior right?
Yeah, that is for Alibaba.com. Yeah.
Okay. Ricky, well,
because we are not governed by the PRC law. Basically, we are an international platform. We look at intellectual property rights from a broader perspective.
Okay, Ricky, if this same situation happened in China on Taobao.com, which is a Chinese company, how would it be handled?
Oh, yes. In Taobao.com, we only accept as I just introduced before, we only accept a Chinese patent. If there's some foreign company, they can register their patent as a Chinese registered patent, we can accept that. And if it is only registered in the States or in Europe, we can't accept that.
Okay, understood. Operator, are there any questions?
Yes, there are. The first question is from Darren. Your line is open.
Yeah, hi. If U.S. trademarks or patents are not acceptable for Taobao to take items down, how can we just go about having the items taken down without without having a Chinese patent? If the items are clearly infringing and counterfeit, what do I do about that?
Okay, can I ask? Can I answer here?
Yes.
This is John. I think that Ricky's first answer was with regard to if there's a collision of patents, that the China patent on Taobao's case was accepted. I think that doesn't. There's a different treatment for making an infringement claim for someone who has U.S. intellectual property.
Yes, that is the case as far as Alibaba.com is concerned, because.
I'm asking about Taobao, though, I think.
Yeah, but the question is on Taobao. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the question is for both. I just saw my product listed under a factory on Alibaba, and I also see counterfeit product on Taobao.
Right. So, Derek, as far as your case is concerned, if you saw the infringing listings on Alibaba.com and then you provide us with evidence of your registration in the States, we generally will regard your intellectual property rights having superior status than if our China suppliers produce utility patent registration certificates.
Okay.
So we'll proceed with the take down.
Okay. When I was looking on the Alibaba IPR registration page, it's asking for an IPR number and some other information. Where do I generate that information from?
Well, basically, if you go into the AliProtect system, you registered an account, you'll be able to upload your evidence of IPR proof. So I don't know whether you have tried the process before, and if you haven't tried, then you can, you can try to click into the link at that we provide today. And if you still have any problem to access or get into the system, we can walk you through.
Okay, and what about for Taobao? Then how do I have items that are infringing taken down? Especially since the site is not in English.
What is your definition of the confident?
It looks exactly like my product, with same name, everything, same box, same shoe box. Everything is exactly the same.
You mean do they have the same trademark or the same?
Yes, exactly the same. Exactly the same, made in Fujian, where everything is copied up north as far as footwear goes. My factory is in Dongguan.
Okay, so if your factory is in Dongguan, do you have your trademark registered in China?
I don't do business in China. I don't sell to the Chinese market. I sell to Europe, U.S. and Europe.
Okay. Unfortunately, if you want to have your trademark be protected by China law, you have to register your trademark in the China Trademark Bureau, and we accept the China trademark. And also, if your design is copied illegally by someone, we can protect it from copyright. If you have some design or picture stolen or illegally copied by the vendor, we can protect that.
Only if I have a Chinese registration?
No. We accept international copyright according to the Berne Convention.
Okay, so the evidence is that if you look on your site, there are shoes that look exactly like the shoes that I design and sell and manufacture with the same name, the same style, the same everything, with URLs going to the seller, to the factory on Alibaba, to the sellers on Taobao. Is that enough evidence in addition to my U.S. trademark registration?
Not exactly. I mean, if the vendor copied the picture from your, for example, from your official website, they have the same picture of yours, so we can accept that as a copyright infringement.
Yeah, some of them have taken the photos from my website, and others, the vendor has taken their own photos of shoes that are counterfeit of my brand.
Oh, that may be very difficult for you. Your trademark is not registered in China. So if you file some law case in the China court, they will ask you for the trademark certificate also.
Well, can I do a DMCA takedown, Digital Millennium Copyright Act, to have the images removed?
Well, we have our Chinese DMCA law, but we can only accept a legal right under China law.
Darren, hi, this is Janice Wingo with the International Trade Administration. Do you want to give me a call tomorrow? The number is 202.
Yep, let me just grab a pen.
202-482-2590. This is a free service from the Department of Commerce, the United States Department of Commerce. We don't give legal advice, but we do give background information. The attorneys over here would be happy to talk with you at 202-482-2590, and we can discuss this more. Trademark rights are territorial, so without a registration in China, you're going to have an uphill battle.
I think, Derek, in fairness, too, we at Alibaba Group would like to help you to the extent we can under the current rules that we operate under, and we're happy to work through Janice as well. In terms of this trademark issue on your photographs, we can do what we can within the existing published rules we have to help you. So we're happy to work through Janice on that.
Okay.
John, I just wanted to mention that that's John from the AlibabaGroup.com.
Okay. Yeah, I already have a call. I think I'm going to be scheduling with Sue, somebody through I just got an email back from her, one of your attorneys.
You can email JANICE.wingo@trade.gov, and I will respond to you.
Okay. Thank you very much, Janice.
Thank you, Darren.
Bye-bye.
The next question is from Rick.
Yes, hello. How are you doing?
Hi, Rick.
Hello.
Hi. First of all, thank you so much for putting this together. And Janice, with all your help, and hopefully we can try to make some sense of this. I mean, going into this, you know, especially on the Alibaba front, I'm very displeased with the unreliability of the reporting platform. There's been countless times that I've tried to use the online reporting tool, and I sit there for hours uploading images of our protections that we do have in place in China, the trademarks, and then come to find out that it doesn't upload at all. And so this has gone on and off for over the last year. And so I've basically turned into sending things in through an email and attaching all the required data, and it turns back to me pretty much that, I'm sorry, we can't accept this. You'll have to go back onto AliProtect and report it that way, and then to remember to report each and every item. So it's refreshing to hear that you're going to be working on the system and maybe making it a little bit more robust. I know that a lot of people are trying to model themselves after like eBay, for example, which is pretty much a pull-down point click and it's done and over with. But I'm just wondering, what do you think the time frame is going to be where the platform for Alibaba becomes a little bit more user-friendly?
Oh, sorry, Rick. First of all, I want to understand, are you talking about the infringements on the international marketplace, www.alibaba.com?
Oh, I'm talking about, well, I've always been directed to go to the AliProtect
Right.
Yes, and I know there was some confusion last year where I would report things through and they would say, well, that's not us. And then I get an email back from HK registered, you know, and so it's been a little bit confusing for me.
Right. I think there were confusions maybe because the listings were not on the international website. Actually, they were listed on the China website. But anyway, I think we should communicate because I'm not aware of the fact that you have been sending in emails to try to report the infringing listings. And it will be, I mean, after this call, my team member Brian can work with you basically to understand what problems you encountered in our AliProtect system. I don't understand why you will not be able to upload the proof or the listings to process the takedown. And the second question about the user friendliness, the enhancement. Basically, we are working in the past 12 months on that, and we believe in the next 6 months those enhancements will be completed.
Okay.
And also, I'm not sure whether you found the 200 listings maximum is a limitation, and if you think that is a limitation. In fact, we have another enhancement to allow bulk submission, but certain technical issues need to be resolved, including the interfaces.
Right. Well, we like to work with you on it because we find that the average. First of all, there's probably 80 or 90,000 pieces that we've identified right off the bat through just hundreds and hundreds of sellers, and this also goes for Taobao. And so being limited is extremely difficult. I could hire 300 people and they still wouldn't get all this stuff in. And it seems to me that since we're a very, very large company, we're worldwide, we own trademarks in most major countries, so that's not really an issue. But our issue is that the time that it takes to report this and then having to list each and every item rather than just listing the seller's store, because our take is that if there's a seller with 100, 200, or 300 counterfeit illegal copies, okay? Illegal copies. We're not talking about patents. We're not talking about copyrights. I'm talking about trademarks. That they've conducted themselves criminally. They are selling. I mean, typically on the street, someone would be arrested for that. That why are they allowed second, third, and fourth chances? Why can't we just take them out right away? I should be able to list maybe 10 items for each person. Just the fact that they violated your terms of use and that they're selling illegal product should be enough just to have them removed right off the bat.
Right. So why don't we communicate offline? Let me understand all the complaints that you have right now, and then we'll look at that.
Okay.
Do you have my email?
No, I might have missed that. If I can get that?
Yes. It's Elsa, ELSA, WONG, at hk.alibaba -inc.com.
Hyphen what?
Hyphen Inc. INC.
Okay, got it.
Hyphen INC.com. So please drop me an email. I'll get back to you then.
I would like to do that, and I know I don't want to take up a lot of time. I see that there's about 36 other attendees that probably have questions as well. And I just, let me make sure I don't have any other questions here. I think that Ricky answered some questions about requiring, the trademarks to actually be in China, but then it raises a question. Obviously, most of the companies that are impacted by infringement are outside of China, and these products are being sold worldwide, so why would you not accept trademarks? Like if we can prove that a seller is selling into the United States, and if we only have a U.S.-based trademark registration, why can't we not produce that?
Oh, I have answered this question. We Taobao only incorporated under China law, and we run business within the territory of China. So we obey the China law to have the legal basis of your right. So you have to prove you have the legal right of under the China law, such as a China registered trademark.
But many of your sellers are marketing and selling outside of China.
That's what we can't control. Sorry. And also, if the infringement is occurred outside China, that's out of our control.
Okay. All right. Well, there's a lot that I'd like to undertake with both of you, and I have your email addresses, Janice. I have yours as well, and I'll just sort of pull out from the questions right now because I know you have other users that want to partake.
Thank you.
As well. All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
The next question is from David.
Sullivan? Hello?
David. Hello.
Hi. Hi. My name's actually Harrison. I work with David at an American company. We've had great success using the Ali Protect platform with Alibaba to take down infringing URLs. But our experience with Taobao and the Qinchuan system leaves a lot to be desired, we'll say. And so I suppose my questions are for Ricky. And I have actually visited your offices in Hangzhou, and I had an interesting experience down there because I have been using your system for over 6 months, and after getting registered and everything, which took a long time, it was your company was refusing, or Taobao, I should say, was refusing to accept that counterfeiters, which Alibaba accepts for counterfeiters. Your company refused to acknowledge that they were infringing on our intellectual property. And you had one time your company accepted my complaint and took down some links, but then it stopped after that. And I was just curious, what are the discrepancies between what Alibaba will accept as grounds for a counterfeiter, for accepting that they are counterfeiters, and why Taobao won't use the same logic to accept that these people are infringing on intellectual property rights?
Well, I don't know if we can answer that as a hypothetical. Maybe we need a few more. I mean, there are facts and circumstances, as Ricky and also have explained that certain types of intellectual property are acceptable in one format and not in another. Maybe you could give us a little more color on what you're talking about as far as what did Taobao not accept, and then maybe Ricky can react to that.
Well, basically, I believe it was, I can't remember if it was Darren who mentioned the fact that they had copied photographs from our company's website and were using them on the counterfeiters on their little personal page on Taobao were using them on their personal pages there. And they were saying that when I visited the offices in Hangzhou, they were saying that they cannot accept that even though I'm there and I represent the company and I have all the documentation and international copyrights and patents and trademarks, etc., that they don't believe me that these companies are infringing on our intellectual property. And there are other pieces of evidence I could state, but just for keeping things simple and brief, basically they're copying photographs, and therefore Taobao says that because they're using the photographs, we can't tell if we think they're you. So.
Well, let's take the photograph issue for one, because we have this happen occasionally, and it's very common in e-commerce. It's not unique to the Alibaba companies, where photographs are misappropriated one party to another. We have pretty clear rules on the fact that we don't tolerate that, and we have a way to have photography protected that basically, I'm oversimplifying, involves you proving this is your photograph. We have gone out of our way, and we can either do this now or we can go offline with you and show you places where we have published ways that e-commerce participants can protect their photography and make it much easier proactively to prove it's theirs if someone misappropriates. The difference between misappropriating a photograph and actually selling an infringing product, what we have found that some merchants do, and again, not unique to Alibaba, is they misappropriate a photograph thinking this is but an exemplar of what we can do, and then the actual product they sell is not representative of their photograph. Again, not something we like, but something that we and eBay and other companies have seen happen. So we definitely treat them, as Ricky said, I believe, to Darren's question, misappropriated photography is definitely one thing we can do something about. If you don't have, the legal rights to protect your product inside China, it's more difficult for us to help you when an actual product is being sold that you say infringes your IPR rights that are valid outside of China. But photographs we can definitely take action on.
Well, we do have the relevant Chinese domestic trademarks for our products, and we do have international copyrights on the photos. International being the United States and the European countries. And I guess my question is why does Alibaba accept the argument that without a photograph? That's just what they told me in the office, in the Taobao office. They said, well, based on all the other evidence, we can't reasonably believe that these people are not you, that you're not selling these products. And so they suggested I use the photo copyright method to go through there. And I'm just fed up because the experience with Alibaba has been great. The AliProtect system works like a charm, but Taobao, I visited their offices even, and they're stonewalling me still. So I guess I'm just curious what the discrepancy is and how to rectify that.
Well, I guess the easiest thing to do would be, we're here as evidence that we're not trying to stonewall anybody. So maybe what we could do is have you connect up with me or someone in my office who can work with Ricky and his team to get at the heart of specifically what your issue is and see if we can solve it for you.
Well, that actually would be nice. It was very difficult to get in touch with anybody to begin with. You don't have an email, you don't have a phone number, the online people refuse to connect you with anybody. So I had to go to your offices, and it would be very nice to talk with a Westerner if that's possible. If I could get your contact information, that would be great.
I'm from Detroit, if that counts, as long as you don't hold that against me.
Sir, nice to meet you.
Grosse Pointe Park was my last, or 48230 was my last residence.
Val 4 in Grosse Pointe Park. Nice to meet you, sir.
3 Mile. Nice to meet you.
Yeah.
It's John Spelich, John, S like Sam, P like Paul, ELICH, all one word, at, same as Elsa, hk.alibaba-inc.com. Send us your info and your...
After the at sign, John Spelich at...
HK as in Hong Kong, HK, which is where we're based,
okay.
dot Alibaba, ALIBABA, hyphen INC.com.
All right, and just to clarify, you have jurisdiction over the Taobao operations as well. You can help me with those.
Yeah, we handle international corporate affairs for Alibaba Group.
Okay.
And that includes Taobao.
Okay. And this is David, and just to jump in really quick, and question for you and Ricky. You know, how do we work with you guys? I think part of the problem is we know what a counterfeit version of our product looks like. We know the context it's marketed in online. We can identify it. How do we work with you guys so you believe us when we tell you, hey, this is a counterfeit? We work with eBay worldwide, and when we tell them something's a counterfeit, they believe us and they take it down. And as does Alibaba, as Harrison said. So how do we work with Taobao to build a relationship and you know, have a certain level of trust? Somewhere earlier in the presentation it said, you know, the trademark owner is the best one to police. So let us police. Okay. And hopefully we can move forward on that with your context. Thank you.
I'll let Ricky answer, but my preliminary answer is by doing things like this, we are also trying to reach out and begin building these bridges, because when, you know, Taobao in the main is a Chinese company that operates inside of China. The vast bulk of its GMV is inside China. And so it's concerned itself with being very good at that, and we are understanding that there's a bigger world out there with regard to Taobao, and we're trying to take these steps to, you know, to help basically a 7-year-old company grow up and find its way in the world, and that's why we're doing initiatives like this as well.
Great. Well, we really appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you, John.
Yeah.
And if you wanted to contact Taobao, you can also contact Ricky at WENCHANG@TAOBAO.com. Also, we'll post the audio recording to this presentation, including the slides, at the stopfakes.gov website.
The next question is from Russell Chalk.
Well, I'm going to pretty much defer my time because a lot of it's been covered, but I just want to reiterate much of what's been said. We've had, it's been an easier road with Alibaba, much more difficult with Taobao. Our product is sort of a child safety product, and there's some real risks. And there are factory after factory, you know, tens or dozens at a time, claiming to make our product. Some of these actually are selling counterfeits. Some of them are just collecting credit cards or collecting money and not delivering anything. And it's just been very, very difficult to get that to stop. And certainly I wonder, it has seemed like there's some resistance, more certainly from Taobao, to help us try to stop it. For many small companies, it may take 2 years to get a Chinese trademark. Well, in that period of time, their products are being ripped off, and in our case, children are being put at risk. And so, I guess all I want to say really is thanks, and I appreciate the contact information as well. But my hope is that what's going on now is an indication that Taobao especially, is going to work with us to try to protect the market and not be so resistant to doing so. So thanks.
Thanks for your feedback. And please do get in touch with us. We would love to figure out how we can best help you to protect your IPR.
Okay, and so I'm assuming there are going to be new procedures that are sort of coming online now that may involve a little more personal interaction to allow us to present and at least have the claim addressed one way or another and not sort of just lost or stonewalled.
I think the answer is we're going to do our best to upgrade the Taobao. I mean, the thing about Taobao, and I have a question for you as well. The thing about Taobao that I think people don't really understand is, this is a site with 400 million registered users, and it's got
A billion product listings.
It's got a 1 billion product listings, and it's a company of less than 4,000 people. Right now, nearly half of the workforce, as part of their spare time and volunteer, go on the site to look for IPR infringing products, which is part of when Ricky reported takedowns on our own hook. I mean, we're up against a monumental onslaught of incoming data, which is what makes it difficult to proactively police. But having said that, I think we know that we need to upgrade the system so that it more approximates what Ali Protect is doing, and I think it's fair to say that a lot of work's being done in that arena.
Sure, and as far as it might be too much to expect you guys to proactively go out there and look at every listing and find IPR violations. I understand that, and that's an expense of our doing business is going out and looking for those things. But once we've identified a factory that says it's making our product with minimum orders of 200 pieces, and without a doubt, and give us an opportunity, and we can clearly show you we've been making this product for 10 years. Here it is. Here are our ads. If we have trademarks, obviously we present those as well. But once a reasonable case is made, there needs to be some responsive action, and that's been, I think you're hearing in me and some of the other speakers, a lot of frustration. Because look, eBay worldwide's been able to take a big chunk out of this. Alibaba has as well. And Taobao is at the size that they are at. For whatever it's worth, I think there's a responsibility that goes with the revenue that they're generating through these sales. And they may be making a lot of money through people selling counterfeit goods. And they have to know that that many of those goods are counterfeit.
Well, I have to point out one thing to you. Your statement about us making a lot of money is sadly not true. 80% of the transactions in Taobao basically are done for free in the sense that we don't charge the merchants to be a transaction fee or a membership fee to be on the site. We're very different from eBay in that respect. The vast majority of sellers more than 7 million merchants on Taobao right now are essentially using Taobao for free. So this notion that we have sort of a pecuniary interest in standing by on counterfeit is demonstrably untrue. More importantly, and I think what's really at stake here is we understand, especially as our reputation has grown globally, that we do have a responsibility to behave as a responsible company. And I think, unfortunately, a lot of our activity that we've taken as a company, both at Alibaba and Taobao, it's been so recent in the last couple of years that perception hasn't yet caught up to reality. We're going to be taking more steps globally to try to get to the right people and give them some education on what we've done and let them maybe form some different opinions about how we see this issue. But rest assured, this is not an issue where we're loading our pockets and standing by and watching bad people do bad things. We have put people in jail in the last year. We have cooperated with law enforcement and gone after those factories in Fujian who were ripping people off by selling them, air and taking their money and running away. We have put our own employees who've committed misdeeds up for criminal prosecution. I mean, there is nobody that is more serious about this in the industry right now, I would argue, than we are. And the problem is,
but
a lot of this doesn't get out.
Hang on. To some extent, at least on the Taobao side, that message is not getting out to your customers. Never mind the public in general. And I didn't mean to cast aspersions on your company. I really don't know what your finances are, but I do know that there's a responsibility that you have, you know, to the world markets. And certainly there are, you know, at any given time, anywhere from 5 to 20 factories claiming they're making, I know, our product, and I bet other people have had similar experiences. There's a difference between Alibaba and Taobao as to the effectiveness of what you're doing. And, you know, I guess my suggestion would be to look at where those differences are and see, you know, I would presume you want to, you know, improve those things. But it has been an ongoing problem, and it's not just perception. We have absolutely tried repeatedly, with good success with Alibaba, with poor success with Taobao, to stop these practices. And as I say, I mean, you know, getting the message out to the public is one thing, but getting it out to, you know, for example, Ricky was talking about the point system. Well, somebody sells either air or counterfeit, and they get so many points, and they're still doing it for a period of time, and then more points, and then maybe they get taken off, and then they get taken off and do a listing under a new name. You know, I mean, that's how it works. And so, again, I commend you for the outreach that you're doing now. We certainly are going to be in touch. But it's a really serious problem. It's frustrated a lot of businesses, small and large, worldwide.
Well, I think one thing that's important to note is there's a difference between fraud and counterfeit. People who commit fraud, who cannot substantiate that they didn't commit fraud, get banned fairly effectively, fairly immediately. That's not something that we tolerate anybody abusing our customers. On the counterfeit front, I think it's tough to argue that progressive discipline is a bad thing. Because, you know, what you're basically saying is, hey, give everybody the death penalty for a first offense. In some of these cases, we have good-natured disputes over, is something actually a counterfeit, or is it Shanghai, in the sense that it kind of looks like your product, but it's got a slightly different name?
Sure. I understand you have lots of questions.
We're subject to the legal treatments of that just like you are, and what you're really talking about is the legal system that we all have to live under, that we're not trying to hide behind, but that represents a sign of fairness to all of our customers, our buyers, our sellers, and our responsibility to the intellectual property community, all of which we take seriously and we try to balance on a fairly big scale.
But why is it that Alibaba, if I heard right, Alibaba will recognize international trademark, Taobao won't?
Well, I think the easiest answer to that is Alibaba operates in 240 regions and countries around the world, and Taobao 99% operates within the confines of China, and conducts itself under the laws of China.
In an internet world, nobody just operates in China, okay? And our product is being bought, we know, by people around the world. So if you want to say we're only going to sell to customers in China, that's one thing. But, you know, Alibaba respects international trademarks. For that reason, it makes the world a lot easier for companies that might not have $1 bazillion to hire lawyers all over the world. And if Taobao is going to be part of an international marketplace, which it is because it's the internet, you know, there should be some cognizance of not just international trademark, but a company's operating history.
I think we are cognizant, and we're trying to work out how to handle that. The point I'm trying to make to you is, I believe your perception that Taobao is somehow selling magnificent amounts of goods outside of China is not belied by the facts. So, I mean, at this point, China, you know, Taobao is
certainly offering them for sale worldwide.
Sorry?
It's certainly offering goods for sale worldwide. I don't know how many sales are closed.
I'm not trying to argue the distinction without a difference. It happens to be on a website accessible from around the world, but the fact is it's targeted at Chinese nationals, and it mainly operates inside of China. Your points are well taken. Again, one of the reasons we're here is we want the feedback. It gives us the ability to discuss better ways to achieve these goals, and we do take this seriously, or we wouldn't be here so early in the morning on our business day or so late at night on yours. But I think the fact of the matter is, at this point, we've tried to explain that there is a distinction for companies that take the effort to protect their rights inside of China. We are going to respect those rights. There's no question about it. We're not looking to hurt anybody. We're looking to do business just like everybody else is.
I just wanted to let the caller know that the International Trade Administration would be very interested in hearing about his complaints. If you could contact us, we do take your complaints of U.S. business very seriously.
I appreciate that, and we will, because it really has been a kind of a big deal.
No, I mean, small businesses, anybody, that's whom we work for. So 202-482-2590.
Could you give me that again? 202?
482-2590. It's janice.wingo@trade.gov. We look forward to hearing from U.S. companies. We're free. We don't offer legal advice. But we do want to hear what U.S. companies are facing when they try to sell abroad.
We'll be in touch, Janice, and thank you, guys.
There's another caller who actually asked to ask a question that touched on this caller's question as well. This caller, someone actually emailed in this question. They talked about a way, is there a way that we can prevent IP infringement before a takedown request is issued? For example, they talked about registering your U.S. trademark with Customs and Border Protection in the United States that would prevent an infringement from China that was coming from China being shipped into the United States. I just wanted to let the caller know, because I'm having a problem with the Q&A system, that there is a method under Chinese customs as well, and to register a Chinese trademark, a Chinese patent. They also accept Chinese copyright registrations, or actually they recognize a U.S. copyright registration from the Copyright Office here in the United States. And you can register with Chinese customs. I will give you the information on how to do that if you call 202-482-2590. There's a webinar by a former Chinese customs agent who explains how to actually go about doing that.
One thing, Janice, we'd like to tag on too is I gave out my email before, and Elsa's given out hers. Anybody on the call who's interested in trying to learn how to sell on Taobao into China, we would be happy to connect you with our business development teams to give you some insight on how you can list your products on Taobao as the authentic seller of this product. And as a proactive way to sort of combat some of this is to come into the market, be the authentic seller. Our evidence shows Chinese people want to buy real and authentic. They don't want to buy counterfeit and fake. And we can help you with some ways to get started in that respect.
And I'd just like to mention to the SMEs, in the 10 months or so that you're waiting for your trademark registration to mature to registration in China, there are other methods that you can take to enforce your rights. You need to talk to a licensed Chinese attorney, but there are other out-of-the-box methods that you can take on enforcement. I'd be happy to forward other emails from practitioners who work in China who could give you some ideas on what some of those options would be. But we do strongly recommend that even if you do not sell in China, that you, because it is a territorial system, that you register your trademark in China. It's a first-to-file system.
Yep.
Are there any other, operator, any other questions?
Yes, the next question is from Jill Grant.
Hi. Thank you all very much for your time. I really appreciate it. This has been very enlightening. I represent a number of companies that have just gotten to the point where we do have trademarks in China, registered trademarks that we can begin enforcing. So this is enlightening for me. I heard Ricky talking about saying that the online form and he went through how that could be used, and it's in Chinese. Are there other ways to report infringement besides using this online form with Taobao?
Is Ricky on the line? Is Ricky still on?
Yes. You can also send an email to Qinquan, QINQUAN @Taobao.com.
QUIN.
Yes, QINQUAN @Taobao.com.
Okay.
Jill, we also have an English manual, Jill, to using the platform. So if you'd like us to send you that, we'd be more than happy to do so.
Oh, appreciate it, Janice. Thank you so much. This has really been a great presentation. I can't tell you how much I appreciate everyone's efforts involved in this. The one thing I did notice while I was online, while a few people were asking questions, I noticed, Ricky, I believe you said that you're going to try and get this in English within the year. Is that correct?
We are trying to develop an English version, but nowadays about 95% complaints are in Chinese.
Okay, because I was actually searching for my clients' products in English, and I was successfully finding them.
Mm-hmm.
So it made me think that it should be right around the corner. Very soon then. So that will be good. That'll be nice. But in the meantime, I'll use those because I was surprised how many I came across that I could tell right away were counterfeit. So I'll be getting in touch with you.
Okay.
Now, if I do report via email, you mentioned that will points be deducted just the same as if I reported online?
One point I have to figure out is that we do not deduct a point when you complain through an email, other than the online reporting system. That means we will only take down the listing. We will not give a punishment. We will not give a penalty to the vendor.
Okay. So
we encourage you to use the reporting system.
Okay. Is there a reason for that?
Yeah.
Ricky, is there a reason for that?
Yes. Yes, we encourage the user to use the online reporting system. And it's not very efficient for us to deal with the email complaint.
Yeah. Well, once it's in English, it'll be much more efficient for us, too. So I appreciate it, though. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Janice. This was really a great presentation.
Thank you.
And there are no questions at this time.
Actually, there's a question that has been typed in that's going to go to Elsa. This question has to do with the authenticity of authorization letters. The caller suggested it's very easy to manufacture authenticity letters by unscrupulous individuals. And so they ask Alibaba, how are you enforcing verification, real verification? The caller thinks that this is a huge problem and that Alibaba should be better at policing this.
Well, actually, it depends on the type of product. In some cases, like consumer electronic products, actually we scrutinize authorization letters very rigorously. We don't usually allow authorization letters. And based on our experience, certain type of products, the owners, the rights owners, they have informed us that they don't have any authorized agents in China at all. So based on our experience, we do know how to scrutinize or even reject authorization letters. However, we don't know for each type of product. So if a rights owner has any particular concern, they can communicate with us, telling us that they don't have any authorized agents in China, or they give us a list of authorized agents in China. So in the future, if there are complaints, then we can check against the list and to take down the listings, even though the complainant may produce an authorization letter, but we clearly know that it's not genuine. Does that answer the question?
I'm not the caller, but if the caller doesn't think this answers the question, please email me again. Operator, are there any other questions?
There are no questions at this time.
I just wanted to remind the callers that Ricky can be reached at wenchange.sk@taobao.com. That's for Taobao. And Elsa can be reached at elsawong@hk.alibaba-inc.com. And that we have a webinar next on January 10th on for the semiconductor industry, but it does discuss patents and particularly some opinions that were drafted recently by the Supreme People's Court. Shoot me an email, janice.wingo@trade.gov, and I'll give you the dial-in for that. We also have a trademark practitioner in China talking about the top 8 cases from 2011 on January 13th. Again, I want to thank Alibaba Group, John Spike, Elsa Wong, Ricky Shen at Taobao for answering these questions, and they've been so generous that they said that they will be willing to take emails from you. So anybody who's listening online, please shoot them an email.